I could tell you with my experience with as many clients that I've helped and worked with in 35 years, very few have a good plan. And if they have a plan, it's a business plan, but they don't have the elements in place. And they think that they're going to stitch the parachute on the way down.
Oh, yeah. That's a great, that's a Howieism right there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the Howieism.
Oh, yeah.
of the
Well, there
day.
you
Just
go.
frantically
All right,
sewing
boom.
it
All right,
together.
let me write it down. Oh, I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you're in an airplane right now. In about 3 minutes, you're going to be coming down at about 100 miles an hour going towards the ground. Your parachute, is it finished? Was it stuffed right? Do you have your backup and all that? And a lot of business owners find themselves like, I didn't know. Really?
Yeah. It's not quitting to have an exit strategy. It's just being prudent.
Having said all this, is your business acting like a toddler? So when it comes to business coaching, how do you come in and help in that situation where you do have maybe a business owner that's acting a little bit like a toddler, or you at least have the business in that toddler stage?
I would call it mostly the business acting like a toddler. I
don't
probably
know.
wouldn't have a lot of clients if I went
I
around
act
calling
like a
people
toddler
like they're
sometimes.
toddlers. But most of what I feel like having a business coach does is gaining that clarity. Sometimes you're so deep in it that it's hard to imagine there's another way, or your thoughts are running around too much. You know you need to do something about it. You know your business is running you ragged, or the same problems keep coming up over and over again, but you just don't have the time, or even worse, the energy to deal with it. We've all dealt with burnout at one point or another. If you're so burnt out that even if you have the time, all you can do at that time is mindlessly scroll on social media or just watch TV, then you're not actively working to fix your business. So what I do is come in and we talk about what is going on and ways that you can implement as a person to fix it. There's no one size fits all, but if you create solutions that work with your personality rather than just doing whatever everybody else is doing, you're a lot more likely to do it. That's the key point that I usually work on. It's not, let's come up with the solution because this works for everybody. It's, who are you? What is your business? What are you looking to accomplish? And what are you going to be able to do about it with the current time and energy you have now, and scale that up so eventually they have more time and energy to pour into it at a deeper level.
Well, how do you figure that out, though?
It's conversation. It's listening and asking questions and
Business therapy.
business.
It's therapy.
Yeah. Look, it's important. As an entrepreneur, do you get home and talk to your family about your challenges at work and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty much all Jennifer and I talk about is work. ask Brooke when we go, hey,
Most
how often do Mark
entrepreneurs
and
don't.
Jennifer talk about
Well, but how long have you had your business?
It's less than 2 years
Yeah,
now.
so it'll change.
Yeah.
5 years from now, she's
Well,
not
and
going to
that's
want to
the
talk
thing,
about
too.
that.
The things
you
that
need somebody who's an expert to really talk to about it, and you can't really talk to your employees because they know, and then you don't want to create fear in them, right? They're like, I'm so worried about what the economy's doing or whatever. So
Definitely business therapy has definitely happened. And I think that, so Jennifer's a lot more plugged into the business now since she's been attending the business coaching sessions every week. And she feels like she has a voice. She feels like she's being heard. She is identifying her place in the business now, and everything is way better. So yeah, some business therapy actually happens. So if you're a business owner and your wife and you aren't necessarily connecting, or your husband and you are not connecting, reach out to Heather because it's definitely awesome.
I have a client that's going to be on the show here soon.
Yeah.
I texted both of you this morning, and his wife and 2 sons both work in the family business. They didn't always, and sometimes they did. And then he owned other businesses, and sometimes those family members worked in those businesses. And so he has instituted this Saturday morning breakfast, even though the kids have moved out. Both of them actually moved out of the house already. They have a policy where everybody comes back for breakfast. You can bring your significant others. We don't talk about business. We're not talking about what's happening at the office.
I saw that
We
on
won't do
Yellowstone. They did that on Yellowstone. They're supposed to anyway, but they always got in a fight.
Yeah. It's tough, man, when you're talking about business, financial problems. I made that mistake early on. Well, 2008, the recession, my kids were young. Maybe it was in 08. Maybe it was the pandemic. It was the pandemic because they would have been too young. They would have been in the toddler stage in 08. But it was 2020. And made the mistake of bringing out a dollar amount that I lost in the stock market, and that about 40% of our business vaporized.
Oh.
This was by March, April, by around May of 2020. And for about a year, my 2 older kids asked me, Dad, are we going to be okay? And is there a chance that we might lose our house? I'm like, no, not at all. Let me explain why. But then so you got to be careful who you talk business with and what part of the business. The other part is true also, right? You're like, oh my God, you get home. I just landed a $1 million contract with the city and blah, blah. And the kids are like, yay, let's go to Disney World. They're like, well, hold on a second. I have expenses and I have $930,000 of hard costs. And they don't get that part. They just hear $1 million. Then they start telling all their neighbors and all their friends, my dad's a millionaire.
I gear my husband up with, I know that you're probably not going to be as excited about this as I am, but I need to walk you through every step of what happened because I'm excited about it. And he's like, all right, let me just settle in to listen to something that I'm not that interested in for the next 10 minutes. But there's something to be said about having someone to throw it all on who doesn't have an interested stake in the outcome and then can help sort out everything.
Yeah, see, I've got you and I've got Howie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just vomit all over both
Yeah.
of you. We just
And
go
even
with
if
it.
Marc doesn't call me to ask me, I still have ideas for
Yeah,
him.
right. Still gotta
I
give 'em
text
to
him.
He's sending me screenshots. Hey, this is messed up. You want to fix it?
Yeah, no, I send a circle. Am I that forward? I thought I was
No,
being
I
a
love
little
it.
more diplomatic.
I'm like, you do you, man. I love it. I'm just going to phrase it how I phrase it, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my inner monk. You might consider in the future.
You're so
doing it this
diplomatic.
way.
I'm like, just get
What
to the
would
point.
it
Howie.
look like if you
Yeah, that's right.
did this?
This is a good way
So
to do
this
stuff.
is one way of doing it. What would be another way of doing this?
Are you going to work on that book of Howieisms?
Yeah, I am. I'm working on it already. It's in my mind.
Sweet.
It's what I'm
We need to
on.
bring him out.